Good afternoon, I'm Sangeeta, Kandola. The Ukrainian defence is coming under severe pressure as Russian troops attempt to encircle the besieged city of Bakhmut. It has been the focus of intense fighting and, if taken, would represent Moscow's first major victory in half a year. Ukrainian troops are said to be heading in the direction of the front line, suggesting that Ukraine is not giving up the fight for the city. Vincent McAviney has the latest.
The Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine has been witness to months of intense fighting. Now it could be the scene of Moscow's first major victory in half a year. In the past 24 hours, Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut have repelled numerous attacks, but the city's mayor reports they're now engaged in street fighting. Kyiv is believed to be reinforcing the area with elite units and destroying key bridges, but Russian forces claim to have them pinned down.
Units have effectively encircled Bakhmut. There is only one road left. The pincers are closing. Previously, we were fighting the professional Ukrainian army, but today we are increasingly facing the old men and children. They are fighting us, but their lives in Bakhmut are short, 1 or 2 days.
There are now only limited resupply and retreat routes. The Ukrainian commanders have rubbished Russia's assessment.
Russian assault forces are running out and they are trying to beg the Ukrainian army to leave Bakhmut. So we would stop defending the city. They hope to get the city without big losses, but they have lost so many people.
Britain's Ministry of Defence says President Zelensky's forces are under severe pressure. Russia taking the city would certainly boost morale in Moscow, presenting President Putin with a propaganda opportunity. Analysts say, though, that if Bakhmut falls, it would be a blow for Ukraine and offer tactical advantages to Russia, but would not prove decisive to the war's outcome. Vincent McAviney, ITV News.
Next this lunchtime, could a pay deal between the government and unions representing ambulance staff finally be approaching? Yesterday, the Unison and GMB unions called off their action planned for Monday, and talks with the Department of Health are expected to start shortly, possibly this weekend. Well, our political correspondent Carl Dinnan joins me now. So, Carl, how close are we to seeing some kind of resolution now?
Well, like you say, the talks could start soon. The department said they were willing to talk over the weekend if necessary, although the unions are telling me, as of a few seconds ago, that they still haven't had an invitation. So maybe Monday. But I think to answer your question, so long as the unions get into those talks and find that what the government is talking about is, in their terms, serious and in good faith, then the strikes will remain suspended. And in that case, we'll have seen the end of the worst of the disruption in the ambulance service. And the Labour Party have said it's about time they got to this point.
You know, Labour has been saying for many months now, government ministers need to sit down with trade unions. They need to have those proper negotiations. We know about the impact of this on an NHS when we've already got 7 million people on NHS waiting lists. It's really important that we can get resolution of this industrial action.
Now, there are a couple of things that mean that this isn't all positive news. First of all, the Unite Union members are still going to be striking. Although they're the biggest union in the country, they don't actually have that many members involved in this ambulance strike. So the disruption won't be as serious as when all the unions were involved. And the other thing, I think, is that the unions believe they've brought the government to the table by being tougher about what kind of action they're prepared to take. Now, whether that is true or not, that does send a message to other unions that taking a tougher stance is what works.
OK, Carl, thank you very much. Meanwhile, another batch of leaked messages from Matt Hancock have been released, this time appearing to show his reaction after pictures showed him embracing an aide. The former health secretary was forced to resign in 2021 after admitting he'd broken COVID-19 guidance at the time. Charlie Frost reports.
It was an embrace that cost Matt Hancock his job. The then health secretary in his ministerial office kissing his aide Gina Coladangelo, splashed on the front of the Sun newspaper in June 2021. 2 days later, he resigned.
Those of us who make these rules have got to stick by them, and that's why I've got to resign.
But it's what happened in between the photos being published and Mr. Hancock quitting that's the focus of the latest revelations in The Telegraph, the paper now sharing an exchange of WhatsApp messages between him and his advisor, Damon Poole. He asked Mr. Hancock to think really hard about whether or not any rules could have been broken. Mr. Hancock replies, "Other than obviously the 1 metre plus, I honestly can't think of any," adding the worst they can do is kissed before they legalised hugs. Later going on to ask what exactly were the rules on the 4th of May, the day the photo was taken. Back then, the rules said you could meet indoors for work, but social distancing guidelines were in place. Only on the 17th of May were things relaxed to allow hugs and up to 6 people to socialise indoors.
I messed up and I fessed up, right? I resigned, and it's no excuse, but I fell in love, right?
During his appearance on I'm a Celebrity last year, he made it sound so simple. But this leak shows how he agonised for hours over whether or not he broke COVID guidance. Mr. Hancock's team have reportedly called the sharing of the messages highly intrusive and inappropriate. Charlie Frost, ITV News.
Finally, the American actor Tom Sizemore has died at the age of 61. The actor found fame in the 1990s and was best known for his supporting roles in Saving Private Ryan and Black Hawk Down. He'd been in a coma since suffering a ruptured brain aneurysm last month. And that is all for now. Back with our next bulletin at 5:30. Until then, do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.